Hi guys, welcome to AdamMcKola TV. This is the Weekly United and we're back again with another roundup of the week in Manchester United's world. Yes, it's been a long week. We've had a couple of fixtures as well, couple of headlines around loads of different Manchester United players, and it's been a busy week as you'd expect at this stage of the season. Although United aren't fighting for the Premier League title, we're still fighting for points in the league to get us that Champions League spot, and of course still battling in the Champions League, although United obviously played Barcelona midweek and we all know how that went. Nevertheless, the week started with plenty of rumours around one of my favourite lads at Manchester United, Ander Herrera. Yes, Ander Herrera has been linked with a move away from Manchester United for a while. A move back to Spain, a move here, a move there. And Paris Saint-Germain are seemingly the team that have come to the forefront in the last couple of months. He hasn't signed an extension at Manchester United, and the rumours started with the press and, people that aren't really that reliable, and then you had the BBC and co pushing out the same story that Ander Herrera had agreed a deal with Paris Saint-Germain, although it hadn't been confirmed by either club yet. He's available to talk to teams because of the fact his contract has only got a few months running down on it, and it kind of shows you where Manchester United are. We lack a lot of structure, we lack a lot of organisation, we lack a leader in that transfer department. Ed Woodward should have got a deal signed for him either last season, the season before, or sold him. Yes, we know Ander Herrera is a player that we all love, but at the end of the day, better players have left Manchester United. But the way we've gone about our business looks shambolic, it looks unprofessional. These are the kind of things we've laughed at Arsenal for in the past, when they've let players go or had to sell them on a cheap. This is how we got Alexis Sanchez, and now you're looking at it and United are letting Ander Herrera go. Now, for me, I think he's replaceable. But the problem is United already need to sign midfielders. And the fact that we need to sign midfielders and then saying, all right, add another midfielder onto that, as well as potentially a centre-half, a full-back, a winger. Can you trust Ed Woodward and United's business department to get those deals done in the summer? I was just about hoping they'd get one midfielder. If they now need to get two, who else is going to leave? Is that even more players that we need to sign? I'm not sure I trust them, and that's why I worry about this one a little bit, because Herrera was a decent squad player, was a player that could start for you as well. I think we expected more of him, but no manager really fancied him to give him enough time. I remember that season when we won the Europa League, he was absolutely fantastic, but then the following season he seemingly fell out of favour with Jose, and Ole's used him a little bit more, but Ole's shown as well that he's not going to play players that aren't committed to the club and that aren't going to be here next season. We also found out this week for definite that Antonio Valencia will be leaving Manchester United after 10 years at the club. He came in 2009, and because he came in as what seemed to be a replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo, which even now we have to laugh at, he has had some great memories at Manchester United and had some very good seasons as well. And to be fair to him, he's been a solid servant. I know I've criticised him over the last few years and don't think he's been particularly great for Manchester United in the last few years, but he's a player that's always given his all, always, been committed to the shirt. He's represented us as captain at times as well. He's won player of the year and stuff like that, and you have to take your hat off to him and say thank you. But again, it's a player that we've maybe grown a connection to, affiliation to, but is it that bad that they're leaving? I don't think so. United need to move on. We need to replace players. We're looking at those fullback positions, and I'll talk about it later on in the video, but those fullback positions are positions we really need to strengthen in, and we need to do that fast. Moving on from the Herrera story, which broke just before the Barcelona game. United obviously played Barcelona at Old Trafford and lost 1-0. Now, it was a weird one because Barcelona, when they got that goal, I thought, oh, here we go. They could get 2, 3, 4. But then they weren't really a threat from there onwards. Now, I don't know whether that was their game plan to just take a 1-0, take it to the new camp, and they're confident in their ability to get goals there, or whether that was the way Manchester United played, because in that second half, we played a lot better. We just didn't create the chances and we didn't take the chances. And that's why I've been critical of Romelu Lukaku over the last few weeks. That's why, obviously, you have to be critical of Marcus Rashford, whose form has taken a dip recently. They need to perform better in these games. For me, Romelu Lukaku, he's done okay. When you look at the things that he does on the ball and the work that he puts in and all that, but we paid £75 million for a goal scorer. I want to see him trying to get in behind defences and make things happen. Now, Anthony Martial hasn't been in great form. I'm going to talk about him later when we talk about the West Ham game. But when he came on in that game, he immediately was trying to run into areas to make things happen. And we don't see that from Lukaku. I've said it before. We see a striker that's looking to not make mistakes. I want to see a striker that wants to score goals. Even if you make mistakes, I want to see you wanting to score goals, because that's when Romelu Lukaku is at his best. So United lost against Barcelona. The goal coming from an own goal from Luke Shaw or Luis Suarez, whatever you want to call it. And then obviously the performance from there, you're looking at Smalling. I thought he did very, very well. Boss up Lionel Messi by accident, but I thought he did well. The defence did well as a whole. But going forward, we're lacking, and again, it was those fullback areas. I like Luke Shaw, I don't mind him, but then looking on the other flank, we had Ashley Young, who obviously is getting no younger. Is not a fullback. Look, I don't want to sit here and abuse Ashley Young, because I actually like the lad. I think he's a decent guy, and he's always given his all to United. Pretty much the same as Valencia, but he's just not good enough. And I think that's where Manchester United are in this summer. We've got to be ruthless with terms of, I know Ashley Young's just signed a contract. I don't mind him being a squad player and all that, but we can't be playing these guys week in, week out. We need to be ruthless. And if that means Herrera's gone because he don't get the money he wants, if that means, yes, we let Valencia go, but, you know, it has to happen. We have to be ruthless with these players, and we have to bring players in. That's the only problem. I don't trust our board to be able to do that. The Barcelona game also saw plenty of talk about Paul Pogba. Now, while the talk was about Fred and McTominay having a good performance, which they did, McTominay was probably my man of the match. It all then turned on, oh, Paul Pogba's crap, Paul Pogba's this and that and the other. And I found that really bizarre, because I thought in the Barcelona, now don't get me wrong, Pogba's had some stinkers, but I thought in the Barcelona game, he was quite mature with his performance. He kept it simple. He linked up well with Fred. I think he lacked that support in the final third in terms of good running. But he did a good job in that midfield against a very good Barcelona side. And to see the criticism that he got after that was really, really strange. But you know what? It's not strange. I come to expect it now. But I feel more disappointed when it's from Manchester United fans, because Manchester United fans should know better. We really should know better. We've seen the way, you know, people treat our players and treated them in the past, and now we're doing it ourselves. There's the police, because damn right someone needs to call them. The fact that Paul Pogba is looked at as a problem at Manchester United will always baffle me. The man's on double figures for goals this season, double figures for assists this season, and people want to talk about, oh, he's not good enough. Yes, he cost a lot of money, but you know, he's not a striker where he's going to get 30. What do you want from him? We see him create countless opportunities. His passing is absolutely fantastic. You know, I understand when people get frustrated when he dilly-dallies on the balls at times, but we haven't seen that from him recently. I just don't get it. I really don't. And we've seen it in the West Ham game as well. And obviously that's where we'll move on to in this week. The West Ham game, he scores 2. Granted, the penalties. United's team performance wasn't great, but I thought Pogba was one of our better players. And yet again, people coming out criticising him. I don't get it. What do we want? Him to go away and to perform better elsewhere? Are people scared that he wants to leave, so they're just going to act like he don't want him? For me, I feel like Pogba's talking, or his agent's talking about Real Madrid, or whoever it is, partly newspaper bullshit, partly emanating from Real Madrid, and partly emanating from the fact that Paul Pogba probably feels like he deserves a bigger contract. Now, whether you agree with that or not, whether you feel like it's right or wrong for you to use the press to get that, at the end of the day, football is a business. When you look at Herrera going to take bigger check at PSG, you look at Pogba and he's probably thinking, and David De Gea in fact, yo, Alexis Sanchez is on 340, 350 a week. Probably double of what I'm on. Or 100k more than what I'm on. And what is he doing to justify that? Compared to these lads who are putting in the performances and playing. So I do understand why they would want more contracts. It's just not ideal to see, obviously, your best players talking about, you know, other teams or whatever. But even then, I think it's been overblown a little bit, and I think we just need to relax a little bit with Paul Pogba. We will see a better Paul Pogba when we have a better team. Paul Pogba is not the problem. Fred's looking good though, and that's great to see. We've had McTominay stepping up in recent weeks, and against West Ham, Fred was good yet again. I like to see him keeping it simple. He can also pass it. He's got some great passes that break the lines as well. The one thing with Fred is, it always looks like he's just about to lose the ball and then he'll keep it, which if he's keeping it, I don't mind, but he always looks like he just gets it out of his control and then he gets it back under his control again, which I find funny. But he's been performing really well recently, and we haven't seen that from him in the earlier stages of the season. Maybe that PSG game has kind of made him settle and Scott McTominay settle. Now, I was heavily critical of Scott McTominay, and I have to say, at the moment he's proving me wrong. He's putting in some very good performances. Fred's putting in the performances as well. You'd expect that of a £50 million midfielder, but it's now great to see, because hopefully we don't have to, buy more than 1 or 2 central midfielders this summer, because if we do, we're onto a shit show. And if we can create these players that can, Scott McTominay may be a squad player that can fill in at certain times when players are injured or need rotated. Fred can become one of the main 3 that is in constant rotation. And if we can bring in another 1 or 2 that can be starters, that's what we need to be doing in the summer. Bringing in starters, not bringing in players that are going to be subs and all that. That's what we've been doing over the years, buying players that have just been okay. I don't want to see okay. I want to see Manchester United quality, because that's the only way we're going to bridge the gap between where we are now and challenging and winning the league title, is bringing in players that are ready for the here and now. We did beat West Ham, fortunate a little bit. David De Gea making a mistake, but then, making a world-class save as well. His distribution has been a little bit worrying. And something as well that I'm not concerned with, because I think they'll turn it around, but you have to start, saying, what's going on? Come on, lads, pull your socks up. The form of Martial and Lingard, now I know they've both just returned from injury, so maybe that could have something to do with it. But we're looking at them, and we're looking at them for the movement. When Oli first come in, Lingard was providing that energy. Martial was providing the movement. Martial's been fantastic for United at times this season, and during his... People that talk about Martial like he's some bum and like he's not done anything. Someone commented on something the other day saying, what has he done since his debut? I was thinking, are you on crack, bruv? No, I don't think anyone scored more goals than Martial since he arrived at this club. What are you talking about? But I also understand that they need to get consistent. And then Lingard should be closer to that, because he's obviously further along in his development. But Martial was playing against Zabaleta. Bruv, stick your chest out and roast him. You're so much better than him. He's a 50, 60-year-old man. You're a player that's, he's got his best years ahead of him, but you got pace, you got skill, you've been scoring goals this season. And you just lacked confidence, and I don't get it. I don't get it, because why are they lacking? Since the PSG game, things have started to go a little bit weird. And I don't get it, because that PSG game should have gave us confidence. But it seemed like it's done the opposite. We need to turn that around, and quick. Do we need to go to the new camp and beat Barcelona to get our confidence back? Because if we have to do that, that's going to be a disaster. That's for sure. For going there looking to get confidence. Jesus Christ. Looking ahead to Barcelona though, I'm really looking forward to that game. Look, 1-0 down against Barcelona, having to get goals. It's a difficult one. When they've got Lionel Messi, who had an off game at Old Trafford. He's never scored at Old Trafford, which, I suppose is good for Manchester United. But we need to stop him scoring at the new camp. And if they have a good day, they'll batter us. But you never know. You never know. United need a 2-1 result. A 1-0 takes it to extra time. And these things can happen, as we saw in Paris. But it's a shame we never got a goal in that first leg to just, make it a little bit easier going into the second leg. Nevertheless, we're still in with a shout. And you wouldn't have expected that when Oli came in. And you wouldn't have expected us to be in with a shout of top 4. Now, we need to turn our performances around. We need to get better. And we need to start playing better football. But it was great that we got that result against West Ham. Hopefully that'll see a bit of the confidence return. Maybe that's what they needed, because the form hasn't been great. 2 defeats against Wolves, that defeat against Arsenal, losing against Barcelona. The form hasn't been great recently. So to turn that around and get a win was vital. Now we need to push on a little bit. If we can see a good performance, look, whatever happens in the new camp happens, but if we see a good performance that we can take positives from, that's the main thing. If we can get a result, even better. I'll be going out to Spain as well with Full-Time Devils. We'll be doing fan cams and stuff, so make sure you're keeping a lot to Full-Time Devils. But yeah, this has been the Weekly United, where we've talked about all things Manchester United, Barcelona, West Ham, the form of Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Anthony Martial, the summer, Ander Herrera, Antonio Valencia leaving in the summer. What do you make of all that and everything else that happened in the world of Manchester United this week? Get your comments in the comments below. I know it's been a while since I've had a video up here. I've been literally working every single day up and down the motorway, doing different shoots with Full-Time Devils and loads of other different people. But I'm going to try and make this Weekly United thing a thing that happens every week. And if I can do other content on this channel, previews and chats with Dean and stuff around it, I will do. But this is going to try and be my thing every week at least. I can do this on a Friday, a Saturday or a Sunday. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Get your thoughts in the comments below. This has been the week at Manchester United. I have been AdamMcKola. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. And for now, I'm out of here.